Samanta Krishnapillai, the On Canada Project.
The On Canada Project launched in June of 2020 to address the gaping inequities in pandemic-related communications. Since then, we have grown to use our conversational, credible, compassionate, and critical lens to talk about issues facing our country. I realized around January of this year, of 2021, that the project was kind of like a pandemic coping mechanism for me, because it made me feel like there was hope. Not knowing is really scary during a global pandemic, and I couldn't figure out why helping bridge these information gaps in people wasn't happening, while it felt like, people had this information, but other than, physicians or public health people using their own social media to talk about this stuff, there wasn't a lot of effort put in to bridge that information gap. It started as a passion project of just like, it needs to get done. Let's get out there, get this information to people. Roughly around the time that we started to realize the type of space that we could occupy and challenge people in our compassionate tone of inviting them in instead of calling them out, how we could scale this and grow this into sort of a space that Canada doesn't really have right now, which is contextualizing the big things so that everyone can do their little part towards dismantling these big problems that our society has. Something's wrong with the way that we deal with climate change in this country, in the world. You don't need to know everything about it to care about it. And to give everyday people with expertise in a variety of things, but perhaps not a deep dive into environmental sciences, now have the language to champion that change. Hopefully the project gives them language to sort of jump off of and start their own sort of initiatives, because we can all champion change. We don't have to be experts. We have about 130 volunteers right now, but when I really sit and look at how many we've had from June of 2020 to now, I would say it's around 600, 700 people who have come and gone. And that means there's been 600 or 700 people who have shared their talents for free and made the project better. As the project began to tackle larger issues like Canada's colonial past, how white supremacy sort of rooted in our society here, and how to show up fully in a way, especially for BIPOC folk, in a way that allows us to not have to code switch or be anything other than who we are when we're sitting at a table. I think that's what's kept people. It's been the only place that many of us have been able to be unapologetically ourselves. And when you're not having to focus on code switching, you're able to focus on the work. There's going to be a generation of On Canada alumni that go into the workforce and are just no. Where's our equity policy? Why is it super white here? Why aren't you talking about the bigger issues? How are you using the Truth and Reconciliation 94 calls to action within this organization? What are you doing differently? And demanding better so that they can show up and be their best, most creative, most intelligent, brilliant selves.